All right, guys. Well, here's part two. So, for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and get comfortable, okay? Because God is amazing. But I also want it to be like you're sitting right in front of me and we're having this conversation about what God has done. So, you guys know that I first I published, well, I keep saying I like I'm so smart to come up with these ideas. No, like God really put it on my heart to write a book. I didn't even know I was gonna write a book. So I was writing a letter to the home director from the home that I was staying in, and I don't have their permission to mention their name yet. So, but if y'all know me, y'all know what home I'm talking about. And this is an amazing home, amazing people. I still love them. I will always love them no matter what. So, with that being said, I guess I was at a place where, um, once I left the home, my journey started all over. So it was shocking, and it was like right in my face. Before I went into the home, I have to tell you, um, I had about I had a lot of debt. I'm not going to say about how much because I don't remember, but I had a lot of debt from my divorce. And if you don't know my childhood, I would strongly recommend reading Vindicated Gems, Untold Stories, Stolen Innocence. So that's the first book. But I had a lot of debt from my divorce um, in 2015. No, 2005. Oh my gosh, I was divorced in 2005. Okay, it's been that long. And so there's a lot of debt. And so the Lord had been dealing with me about forgiving that debt. And I was just kind of like, ugh. I said, okay, Lord, I will forgive him his debt. And I went and I signed off on the child support papers. Um, I just forgave all of his debt, all 20 something $1,000 worth of back child support. Some of it because the boys were living with him, and some of it because at that point, I really didn't need it anymore. They were grown, they were getting big really fast, and I was okay with just taking a loss and forgiving it. I feel like we do more damage walking around with a sense of entitlement of saying you owe me, when in reality you can be freed from that and say, I forgive you. Like, you don't owe me anything. In Jesus' name, I bless you. There's just such a blessing that comes with that. You'll have to try it if you haven't. So, hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt, and the Lord forgave all of my debt when I came out of the women's home. It was all gone, all of it. I wept and I cried when I went into the women's home because I kind of felt like I didn't know why God had me there or why he asked me to do that. I just knew he did. And and I just had to trust him with my children and my grandchildren later that I didn't know I was going to have. But I just had to trust him. And so, yeah, knowing, like, there was always like a little bit of I guess, grief grief of the things that you leave behind, the people. And so it was a very controlled environment, so for the protection of other people's safety and such. So I respected that. I wanted that. I loved that. Like, I went in there knowing that it was going to be work, and I wanted it. Like, I don't know, I just wanted what God had for me. And so when I did, I was so grateful. So grateful that they would give me the privilege to go and be ministered to and experience this with women that were like being born again. And I mean, coming out of some amazing, crazy lifestyles and backgrounds and all walks of life. You name it. I mean, it was just amazingly impactful. I got to pray for people. I got to minister to people. I got to read the Bible to women. I got to help women coming off of heroin, meth, alcohol, you name it. I mean, it changed my life forever. And so, leaving there, God knew I was not going to leave. Like, I would give up whatever it took for me to stay and continue to just see women come to the Lord in such an amazing way. I'm going to start crying just talking about it, but it's amazing. It's beautiful. And I still have a heart for to see people come to the Lord. It's still, I long for that. I love seeing people come to the Lord, being restored unto Him. It's my favorite. I feel like that's what I live for. But sincerely, like really, I never expected to come out of the women's home and be completely debt free. Hundreds and thousands of dollars worth. And I told the Lord, I said, yes, Lord, I will forgive him. I release him. He doesn't owe me anything. And in return, he told me, I will forgive you your debt. And he did. Unfortunately, while I was in there, I had left my car, my apartment, and to someone dear to me to take care of, but they weren't obligated to have to keep it. So they decided to leave it. And so that was on my credit. And so I'm disclosing this to you because it's important. And you'll hear why in a minute. But when I chose to leave, it was like exactly, like God knew exactly what it was going to take for me to leave. I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I was ready to go. I said, okay, Lord, I'm ready. And it was just kind of like a peaceful, okay. Peaceful transition. And I walked out the door. My son came and picked me up. So after that, though, I went back. I make amends, and I don't like leaving any kind of relationship torn or in a bad situation. Or that's just not me. I will go back and I will say I'm sorry if I need to. Whatever is necessary for the relationship to be restored and for there to be a peace in the Lord with Him at the center of it. And so naturally, it was time for me to go, and I was staying with my sons, and I go to, all right, here we go, check mark. IRS, call the IRS, check my credit score, check my, my Social Security, all of these things, that I had a checklist, a to-do list. Coming out of ministry where I didn't work, I wasn't doing anything for almost 3 years under my social, nothing. I just lived there, served there, and whatever was needed and whatever was asked of me to help and serve. That's what I did. And so that's why coming out, I had to, do all of those things. So I intentionally had to start over again. And within a week or two, I had my first job thanks to a really amazing friend of mine. She sent me a recommendation, and I was working back at Lockheed as a contractor. Wasn't making very much money. I was making very, very little money, a matter of fact. And so and I wanted to help my son. It wasn't enough to live off of or get my own place. So I rented a room from my best friend and then my sister for a little while, because I really wanted to help my son and get his GED, get him on track. And so I decided to start making jewelry and sell the jewelry so I could financially pay whatever bad debt I had and get a place for my son and I to move into. And so that didn't happen. We weren't able to get a place, but an amazing thing happened after that. I started writing a letter to the home director, just kind of telling her a little bit about my story. I never really disclosed how I grew up, where I grew up, what my mother was like, what we did, just tad bits of here and there, small snippets of the story. And mostly because, the Lord had already healed me from that. I'd already been through a deliverance. I'd already, been restored. So I was already like walking in a freedom from all of that. But I was in a sense of discovering, all of these amazing things that God was showing me. So, so I was writing a letter, and I was like, "Dear Miss So-and-so, here's a few things that I really felt in my heart that I wanted to share with you about me, my life, and where I've come from." And I started writing, and one page turned into 6 pages, and 6 pages into 7 pages, and quickly turned into 10 pages. And next thing you know, the Lord said, "Here's your book." And I was like, "What? Write your book?" And I was like, "What do you mean, write my book? Oh my goodness." So, of course, I was scared. I was like crying. I was, nobody wants to put the things that happened to them and revisit all of their timeline and boo-hoo through that process. Yeah, like, it's not natural. You just don't naturally just want to do it. Like, yeah, let's do it. No. So, of course, I just started worshiping. That's the best way I can put it. I put my headphones on, started worshiping, and I just started typing. And it was just an outpour. So the first book was written and published in 2 months. I know. 2 months. 10 chapters. 2 months. Why? Because during this time I went to a small church family that I love, and I still talk to the amazing Pastora, and she's a very amazing mentor in my life. She's been doing ministry for over 50 years, and so I'm super proud and honored to, just to be able to call her a friend, and that she pours into me. And I was writing, and there was a writer there, and I asked him, he came in and he was sharing about his books, and I asked him, I said, "What advice would you give me for someone who is writing my book for the first time?" He said, "Write several. Don't publish it all in one. Just write several books. Use large fonts. Write several books and just and publish a little bit at a time." And I thought to myself, wow, okay. So I prayed about it, and I said, "Okay, Lord, show me how to do this." I went in, kdppublishing.com, hey, plug, and got my template, did my Word document, my Word template, downloaded it, created my Jamie Skoll photography. She did all of my photo shoots, my photos. Shout out to my friend. She's super amazing. You have to go check her out. JamieSkullPhotography.com. And next thing you know, I had my book cover. So the book was published and printed in 2 months. And if you read it, you'll know that it was published and printed in 2 months, because it had the worst editing, in my opinion. I go back and I think about it now and I'm like, ooh, I need to rewrite. But all of that to tell you, like, God is amazing. God is amazing. That was the second stage of everything that happened and started to form with Vindicated Gems. I was making jewelry. I was doing table sales for jewelry. I was cleaning houses. I would leave my full-time job, go clean a house, and then go set up a table for jewelry sale. At the end of the night, carrying those barrels with jewelry supplies and everything, I was crying. My feet hurt. I was asking the Lord, crying out to God, why, Lord? Why? Why do I have to do this? Why does it have to be so hard? Why? Why do my feet have to hurt so much? Why do I have to be in so much pain? And I cried out to the Lord. But He answered me. He did. I promise you He did. So next is part 3. And I will tell you soon exactly what He did through and because of all of that pain. All right? But through it all, just know, like, He's teaching us. He's molding us. Be encouraged. All right? God bless you.